Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Wow, that title alone just hits you, doesn't it? Anees Jung's book isn't just a collection of stories. It's a really unflinching look at a reality that is happening right now as we speak. So let's dive in and unpack why this is so incredibly important. Okay, let's just start with a number. A number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Over 12 million. That's the estimated number of children in India who are trapped in child labor. Now, a statistic that big can feel, a little abstract, but today we're going to put a face to that number. We're going to look at the real lives behind it. And here it is. This is the reality. These are the faces that make up that 12 million statistic. We're going to dig into their stories of survival and the little glimmers of hope they managed to hold on to against all odds. So, what does she actually mean by a lost spring? What is a stolen childhood? Let's get right to the heart of this really powerful idea. Think about what childhood is supposed to be. It's like spring, right? Full of energy, growth, color, possibility. Now, just imagine that entire season being ripped away. That's the lost spring. It's what happens when, as the author puts it, grinding poverty and traditions conspire to trap kids in a life of exploitation. The fun and freedom just gone. To really understand this, we're going to explore two very different but equally heartbreaking worlds. First, we're headed to the garbage dumps of Seemapuri, a slum in Delhi. And then we'll travel to the scorching hot glass furnaces of Firozabad. Two totally different places, two different struggles, but they share the same tragic result, a stolen childhood. Okay, let's meet our first guide into this world. His name is Saheb, and for him, his playground and his workplace are one and the same, a literal mountain of garbage. It's one sentence from Saheb. It just says everything. For him, finding gold isn't about some fantasy of striking it rich. It's the simple, thrilling discovery of a single rupee coin amidst the trash. For these kids, the garbage dump is survival, yes, but it's also a place of, believe it or not, fleeting wonder. So this is Saheb's world, Seemapuri. It's home to about 10,000 ragpickers, many of whom are refugees who fled Bangladesh decades ago. They live in these makeshift mud huts with tin roofs, and their entire existence, their daily bread, comes from that garbage dump. And get this, they might have ration cards to get food, but they have no legal identity. It means they're basically invisible citizens, trapped. And this is where it just breaks your heart. Saheb's dream is so simple. It's to wear a pair of tennis shoes someone else threw away and just play a game he can only watch from behind a fence. But he ends up trading that dream for a job at a tea stall. Sure, he gets 800 rupees, a steady income, but he loses his freedom. The author brilliantly points out that the steel canister he now carries is heavier than his old rag-picking bag, not just in physical weight, but in the crushing weight of a lost childhood. Okay, now let's leave Seemapuri and journey to Firozabad. This place is the heart of India's glass-blowing industry, and it's here that we meet Mukesh, a boy who actually dares to dream of a life beyond the flames of the furnace. In a town where for generations you are born into one trade, making bangles, and you die in that trade, Mukesh says this. He looks the author in the eye and says, "I want to drive a car." Now, it sounds so simple to us, right? But in his world, that statement is an act of rebellion. And this is the world he wants to escape. Families huddle in these dark little workshops, working around furnaces with dangerously high temperatures. They're welding glass, polishing bangles, and so many of them lose their eyesight before they even reach adulthood. It's a brutal, hazardous life that's just been accepted as normal for generations. So you have to ask, why don't they just leave? Well, the answer is this powerful, invisible force, tradition. Mukesh's own grandmother just accepts their fate. She calls it their karma. She truly believes they were born to be bangle makers, and that dreaming of anything else is like trying to defy destiny itself. I mean, she watched her own husband go blind from the work, and she still sees it as their unchangeable path. So we've seen Saheb, who's trapped by poverty, and we've seen Mukesh, who's trapped by destiny. But what are the bigger forces at work here? Let's zoom out and look at the vicious cycle that traps both of them and millions more. You see, it's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm of awful. You've got grinding poverty, the social stigma of the caste they were born into, the crushing weight of tradition, and on top of it all, just plain indifference from society and the people in power. All of these things work together to keep these kids trapped, generation after generation. And this is the really gut-wrenching irony at the heart of the book. These kids aren't just victims of being poor. They are prisoners of the very traditions that are supposed to give their lives structure and meaning. It's a cruel trap. So after hearing these stories, what are we supposed to take away from all this? Why do the lives of these two boys, out of millions and millions, matter so much? They matter because their stories force us to look at a very difficult truth about progress. You know, for every shiny skyscraper that goes up, for every new tech industry that launches, there are children like Saheb and Mukesh living in the shadows. Their lost childhoods are the invisible cost of a nation's forward march. And that leaves us with this final, really haunting question. Saheb dreams of playing tennis. Mukesh dreams of driving a car. But in a world that gives them absolutely no path to get there, what happens to a dream that has no path? That's the question that sits right at the very heart of Lost Spring.